Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to this week's Weekly Energy Boost. My name is Elisheva, and I am here this glorious Monday morning with the illustrious David Ghiyam. David, say something so everyone knows you're here.
Hello.
David's here, I promise. We are here, as we are every Monday morning, to share with you the spiritual energy forecast of the coming 7 days. It's amazing every week to see, as we are on Facebook Live, the people from all over the world who are joining us. It's great to see where you're joining us from. The purpose of our show, and again, whether you're listening on Facebook or you're tuned in through a podcast on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Castbox, or Stitcher, we are here to share with you the most practical, the most powerful, and the most relevant wisdom to navigate not only the coming week, as the wisdom of Kabbalah teaches us. There is a unique energy, there's a unique opportunity in every week, but our goal is also to give you wisdom and tools that you can carry through to every day of your life. Last week we were talking about the humility and really being open to receive, not only receive what the universe wants to give us, but to let go of what the universe wants us to let go, so that we can receive more of the blessings, more of the greatness that we're destined for. This week is piggybacking on that. I mean, I think you'll see clearly what we're talking about in a moment, but the universe really wants us to change how we look at what we're going through, change the way that we see the challenges in our lives. And that's why we wanted to bring this topic to the table. I don't think anybody is immune to it. Nobody is exempt from going through pain in this life. You may be specifically allergic to a certain kind of pain. There's some people that have no problem embracing physical pain, but they don't want the emotional pain. You have people who have no problem to go through emotional challenges, but they just will do anything not to feel physical pain. Right. So we want to not only address, obviously, the day-to-day stuff, but look at in the bigger picture. Why does pain come? How can we embrace the process rather than fight it? And
signs that pain is about to come.
Right. Well,
We'll talk about that as well.
That's your song and dance.
So we are devoting this show to this topic of pain, and if the best way to support us is to think and meditate what area of your life you are facing pain, and you have questions about pain. Just by thinking about it, just by the audience thinking about it, energetically, it opens up the conversation and dialogue with us. But you can also give us some clues by putting it in the comments and asking your questions and sharing questions that might be helpful for everyone that you want to know about this topic of pain.
Well, I think that also the important thing that you can do right now is, if you know somebody who's struggling with a painful situation, and again, it can be anything from physical pain to emotional, mental pain to spiritual pain, share the show with them. They're not going to take it personally. We're not thinking of any one person in particular as we share this show. We're really thinking of the entire world. Obviously, you don't even have to turn on the news to know that there is a lot of struggle taking place. And again, different kinds of struggle. Some people, it's based on where they live. Some people, it's based on their family. Some people, it's based on the industry that they work in. So, again, help us by sharing with us some examples. I know for me, as a Kabbalah teacher, we learn this amazing wisdom, and it helps us understand better what's going on. It doesn't necessarily numb the pain when it comes. And Correct. I think a lot of people look to, I'm going to be spiritual, and therefore I'm going to jump into this sort of nirvana-like state where nothing is going to faze me. That's absolutely not the purpose of being spiritual.
Correct. And also, I think it's very helpful when you let us know where you're from. Let us know just in the comments where you're from, just energetically, just so we can connect to you wherever you are around the world. So we have many different secrets about pain, and I do encourage people to listen, especially towards the end of the show, as we reveal many, many different dynamics of the concept of pain. But it all comes down to, what is your relationship with your pain, with pain? What is your belief system about pain? Because based on what your belief system is about pain, that's how you're going to react to it. And pain has an intelligence. That intelligence is always to push you and guide you on a very simple path that the Creator has outlined for you that is your ultimate fulfillment and happiness. So for example, every time we deviate from this path, there is a situation that will come. Every time we deviate from the path of fulfillment and blessings and happiness, there's a situation that is going to occur to guide us back to this path. This situation is what we call pain. Pain is usually something that is uncomfortable, that we don't understand. It's when we are confused. It's when the message isn't clear. And that, by definition, is pain. When the message isn't clear, that's when we are in pain. And the first thing to know is that pain is not a bad thing. It has an intelligence. It has a message. It is trying to take you somewhere.
I think when David says intelligence, for those of us lay people, he means it has a purpose.
Yes.
It's not random. It comes with a mission. It comes with a divine goal to get us from one place to another. So rather than, I think for many people, I'm thinking of a student who constantly comes to me with the question, why is there so much suffering in the world? Why should I want to get old? Why should I want to live a long life and get old with my husband if in the end we're both going to be sick and suffering until the day we die? Where is God in that?
Right. So a person suffers only when they don't understand or respect what the pain is trying to do. As soon as you stop being a victim about the pain, as soon as you stop pushing away the pain, as soon as you stop freaking out about the pain, that's actually when you start to open up the pain and extract the miracle from it. So and by the way, for a lot of people and Kabbalah students, we're trying to shorten that span of time of when you stop being a victim about it. If you decide after 5 seconds of going through pain that, wait a minute, I want to open this up. I want to reveal the message. I want to reveal the miracle. Then you start on that process. But I know a lot of people who are for pushing away pain for weeks, months, and years. And as a result, they're not actually starting the process of resolving the pain. The moment you accept the pain, that the pain is going to reveal something to you, even though you don't know what it is the moment the pain begins to subside. It's that moment of acceptance. That is the first point of contact. You don't have to understand it. You just have to accept that you will understand it. That is the first part. That is the step one of any challenging situation. Accepting that I will understand. At some point in my future, I have certainty that this is good and I will understand why in the future. You do that, in the first second you feel something uncomfortable and you have already began to resolve it.
I wonder how many people are listening to what you're saying, David, and thinking, oh, I don't have pain in my life. I'm good with everything, or I don't relate to that word. Maybe they will. Maybe we relate to it on a physical level, right? I know when I stub my toe. I know when my tooth hurts. I know when I have a headache. But there's a lot of people out there who navigate their lives so as to not even risk the pain.
Experiencing pain, right?
Right. I may be in a relationship, but I'm not emotionally invested in the relationship, so therefore I can't be hurt.
Sure.
I do have a family, but I'm not close with them, so that they can't hurt me.
Sure.
I do have, I know that for a certain process in my own life that was very challenging, I couldn't go and watch like sad movies and sad TV shows because it just opened up that bucket.
Sure.
By the way, for me, that's also a form of therapy, seeing sad movies and watching sad TV shows and listening to sad music. But at a certain lesser spiritual time in my life, it was something that I pushed a button. And I'm saying for people that live their lives avoiding pain, not even letting themselves get into a situation where there's a risk of feeling bad.
Yeah. What's that all about? All right, so let's go in chronological order. First thing is, we all should know that the purpose of life is to live a contentful, fulfilling life where I feel certainty, I feel love, I don't have anxiety, I don't have fear. That is the actual purpose of life. And to also know that existence is waiting for you. Regardless of where you are from and what you're going through, what situation that you think is so daunting that you are in, there is a reality, there is a destiny that the Creator has fashioned for you that is waiting for you to get there. Okay. If you have a belief system that happiness doesn't exist, or if you have a belief system that you should be suffering or should be going through pain,
or you're just here to survive,
or you're here just to survive.
There's a lot of people out there that are just trying to get by and don't even have their sights on being happy or fulfilled.
I talk to people. I say, "What's going on?" I say, "I'm just trying to survive the day." This is not accurate. This is not accurate. It's just not accurate as to why you came to this world. So we have to first remind ourselves constantly that even if I am in pain, even if I am suffering right now, that is not actually my destiny. I am destined to be happy. All right. Now, how fast you get to that destiny or how easily you get to that destiny, that's totally up to you. But it starts with the first belief system that I can have everything my soul was meant to have. And that does equate to true fulfillment and peace of mind. All right. Peace of mind is really what we're talking about here. Okay. That's step one. Now, how are we going to get there? The soul yearns to get to that level of happiness and contentment. But we have a lot of negativity that is stopping us with all these limited belief systems. One type of limited belief system is, no, why do I need to strive for so much? I'm good the way I am. Now, what's the issue with I'm good the way I am? You may be good the way you are, but if your soul does believe, and if you feel there's an inkling inside of you of something greater, and you have to do a self-auditing. You have to check in with yourself. If you have felt an inkling that there is something greater for you, but instead you keep shoving that voice down, you keep muffling that voice of greatness, what will happen is eventually the soul always overcomes the body. The soul that says, I have greatness ahead of me, is going to push back on your muffling of it and saying, no, I like the way my life is. Things are good. And what will happen, if not in this lifetime, it will be another lifetime, but it usually happens in the one you're in. The soul will call in the chaos. The soul will ask that an external force come to awaken you to go to your next level. Okay. And it can be in the form of tragedy. It can be a form of, chaos of any kind, but that is only there to awaken us towards achieving our potential. And that's why when we don't listen to our soul's voice telling us of something greater that we should be doing, it could be a greatness in relationship that we're staying stuck in. It could be greatness in business that we feel like, I'm just addicted to that paycheck. I don't want to move on. It can be addicted to anything. If I don't listen, the soul will create a problem for us so that problem motivates us to move to the next level. So that's addressing the question of what Elisheva said. What about those people who are just good? And we have to realize that all of us at some point are thinking that way. You know what? I'm good today. I'm comfortable today. I don't need to worry too much. And so we really need to just check in and say, okay, wait, is there something greater? Let me at least take baby steps towards it. You don't have to figure it all out right now. Just take a baby step towards it. Just show that you're moving towards it. Don't be a swamp, be a river, right? You want to always be moving. Always be moving towards something. We talked about this last week.
Well, okay, so I think that from what David said, one clear concept emerges is that rather than push away the call, push away the pain, embrace it. Mm-hmm. Embracing the process speeds up the process.
Right. Accepting it.
Right. Unfortunately, what ends up happening is that as we escape or run away or deny or push away that uncomfortable feeling, we cause it to need to come back again. So it's not that, we think that, well, maybe if I'll self-medicate or I'll escape to Netflix or I'll gossip about somebody to feel better about myself. We're not dissolving the pain. We're just throwing it back out there only to have to come back again. And what ends up happening is that it accumulates. So it just becomes the more hesitance we have to deal with it, the harder it has to come to wake us up.
An example of a girl was sharing with me that our boyfriend was not appreciating her and treating her right. And in fact, he wanted to break up. And she started to go through tremendous pain and came to me and said, well, what do I do about this? And the first thing to do is not to try to figure this out. Not to try to figure out his mindset. Where's the relationship going? What should she do? Should she reach out? Should she not? I said, right now you're going through pain, and this pain wants to reveal something to you. What you should do is sit in your pain. Sit in your pain and feel your pain. Just feel it. Talk to your pain. Try to have a conversation with it and say, what do you want to reveal to me? What are you trying to show me about my life, about me, about my soul's purpose, about this relationship? And she never thought that she could do that, right? She thought she could come to me or her confidants or her friends or her mentors, or even go to him, try to get an answer from him. Why are you doing this? Where is this going? What's going on with our relationship, right? That's what people just want clarity because they don't want to feel pain. And I told her, before you even ask him what's going on, you're not going to reveal it. He's not going to reveal it to you because he doesn't have permission from the universe to reveal to you where this relationship is going. You're only going to get your answer from peeling the shell of the pain. It's like you have to break open that shell and the message is inside that pain. So I said, for 3 days, just sit in your pain. And it's very uncomfortable for all of us. So just sit in it. I'm going to sit and I'm going to feel it. Feel that pain. In the gym, my trainer always, when it's a really painful exercise, I'm trying to rush through it. And he's like, what are you doing? Slow it down. Feel the pain. Allow your muscle to feel that pain. It's not just about getting it done. It's about feeling the pain. That's where the growth happens.
I think that we should pause just for a second. I personally know a couple people who lost loved ones this week. And we're getting some questions on the feed as well about losing someone that's close to you and the pain that comes with that. The pain of loss, the pain of any kind of deep traumatic situation, I think it deserves its own category.
Its own show.
Its own show. We always say, we always talk about things that deserve their own show in each show. I want to make sure that, it's clear that what David is talking about is dealing with more of the personal growth related life process pain. When it comes to losing someone or going, I would put losing a job in David's category of what he was talking about. When we talk about losing someone, a person in our lives that we're close to, there is also a value in sitting with the pain. And I know that many times, I know people who lost a parent when they were younger, for example,
yes,
and don't want to go, put that experience on a shelf, and they don't want to go there and they don't want to take it out or talk about it because it is, there's feelings of guilt and shame and all kinds of stuff that gets wrapped into that. Kabbalah absolutely says it is okay, it is necessary to feel grief in loss and in trauma. It's not something to, rationalize. And there is a healthy grief process that one should go through. And I think what's connected to what David was saying is that don't run from that.
Right.
Don't escape the spiritual blessing that comes in connecting with the feeling of being in pain, or the mourning, the grief that comes with it. There's actually a whole teaching in Kabbalah about how to make sure that mourning a loved one has blessings for even the person who's left the physical reality.
Right. I don't want to go down that road.
No,
right
I want to make sure that we put a little paragraph, the terms and conditions there, because it's a whole other conversation.
It is a whole other conversation, and I have a lot of secrets running through my mind about this concept. I'm happy we addressed it. Definitely does deserve its own show. And we want to start with the macro understanding of just the everyday pain and challenges that we go through. So that was the first concept. And I have some points here based on pain seminars that we've both given. First, the virtues of pain, and then the pre-pain, signs that you're about to go through pain. Okay. So that's coming up. So number one, the only choice that we have in life is that choice of going through momentary discomfort or long-term suffering. So in order to earn fulfillment, the choice that we need to make will always be slightly uncomfortable. And whenever you feel that something is positive, yet slightly uncomfortable, know that that is your best option. There is no option that is more positive and less comfortable. I'm sorry, more positive and more comfortable. There's no such thing, right? So to be respectful of the discomfort when it comes to something positive. If you choose momentary discomfort could be apologizing. When you know that there's separation between you and another person. Momentary discomfort could be just listening to someone instead of talking. Momentary discomfort could be waking up early, knowing that you need to get a hold of your day early on instead of sleeping in. Momentary discomfort can be calling the client that you don't want to call versus the client you do. Momentary discomfort is just pausing and feeling the pain in a certain situation. If we don't do the momentary discomfort, then there's a long-term suffering that occurs, which has a much more powerful force that we don't want to deal with.
Right. And I think if I could sum up the first 20 minutes of the show really quick, this is usually you.
Yeah.
Let's bring everybody to the same point. How you experience pain in your life is 100% related to your attitude about it. Mm-hmm. If you have our teacher used to say, bring it on. Mm-hmm. Now, bring it on not as a sadist, but as I want to embrace, I want to handle, I want to tackle whatever is going to come my way so that I can be the great beacon of light that I'm meant here to be. The cringing, the bracing yourself, the hiding under a rock or a blanket or a bomb shelter for that matter is only going to perpetuate the need for the pain to be there. Being willing to look at what the universe wants us to look at is going to make that process so much smoother, so much more blessed, so much easier. So in what this week is asking us to look at, how do you feel about pain?
Talk to your pain. Have respect for it. Just have a conversation with your pain and say, I respect that you're here. I don't want you to leave. I want you to reveal your purpose. That's a very important thing. Don't run away from that. Exactly. Talk to your pain. Talk to your pain this week and say, I have full respect for you. I understand why you're here. If I had a choice to have you here or not, I would not want to change that. Right. I want you to reveal your essence.
Pain isn't our enemy. Pain is our ally.
That is correct.
Now what do we do?
All right, let's go to step 2. One of the ways to avoid pain is by seeking transformation of my negative attributes. So if there's something about myself that I know I need to change, being stubborn, talking too much, evil speech, laziness, some kind of fear, insecurity, hatred that I have inside my heart. If I just leave it there, then it becomes like a homing device for pain and chaos. So
I'm sorry that I'm laughing, but I'm thinking of all these people that they complain about these repetitive situations in their life.
That's great.
Right? And the universe is not punishing them with those repetitive situations. The universe is saying, you have an out here. Exit this way. Correct. Follow this scenario so that you can be relieved of this painful situation. And rather than take the exit 20A, they're thinking, just keep driving, just keep driving, just keep driving. No pain, no pain, no pain. And
That's correct. That's correct. If you've identified something about yourself that you know is not a quality of the light of the Creator, take steps immediately, whether it's through Kabbalah or any other modality you know of. Could even be therapy. Take it to your therapist and say, I just recognize that I have hatred. I have a little hatred for this guy or that girl, whatever. I need to immediately start working on it with you because that hatred will become a homing device to attract chaos into my life. So all of this stuff is a homing device that we carry around. It's like if you ever wondered how chaos is tracking you down, it's like, we have a cell phone signal that people can, it's like you're running away from the police and they're tracking your cell phone signal. You can't run away from chaos because the negativity you have inside you, the tikkun that we call it, the correction, is a homing device. And it's sending out a signal for chaos to find you. It has
again, not as a punishment, but as a quick route to removing that negative quality and becoming a better version of you.
And here's another way of looking at it. We talk about the opponent, also codenamed Satan. Satan is the force that is always trying to challenge us to go to a next level. Negativity belongs to him, right? So Satan owns jealousy, fear, anxiety. So if I hold on to anxiety, Satan's always coming to us to say, hey, that's my anxiety. Give that back to me. So whatever we hold on to that's negative belongs to the negative side. So he's always coming at our door trying to take it back. It's like his children. Right? Hatred is Satan's child. So if I have hatred in my heart for someone, Satan's coming to take his child back. So I'm always attracting Satan wherever I go.
If what David just said scares the pants off of you, please go to Kabbalah1.com, KABBALAHONE.com, and find out more, because what he just used is a whole slew of Kabbalistic code words for things that are not really that scary. They just sound scary.
I'm also giving a live Kabbalah one. I give it every 4 months in Los Angeles. And people can also sign up for that if they want a more live experience, whether they live in Los Angeles or not. And here's, remember that movie, It Follows? Have you ever seen it? I haven't seen it.
No.
But the concept is it follows. So it's kind of like Satan follows wherever the negativity is. All right, moving on. Number 3, pain. You want to put up a screenshot of It Follows? I just put it up there.
I don't even know what he's talking about.
Tony, you know what I'm talking about? Just type in It Follows. It's a movie. I think I had the name
Really?
right. Oh, there it is. Is that it?
Nice and scary. Awesome.
Yeah, it's-
Okay.
I got good reviews too. Yeah, It Follows 2014. There it is.
Okay.
All right. Number 3, pain has an intelligence and a mission. Once activated, it must fulfill its course and ensure you transform your nature. So pain has a message for you, and once it is coming after you to reveal that
This
that
sounds like
message,
a Marvel movie.
yes. Once it has been activated, it
Yes.
must fulfill its mission. So, there's the screenshot of It Follows.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
that's it. That we spoke about that. Number 4, speeding up the process. We're going through a challenging situation and it's uncomfortable. We all want to speed it up. We want to reveal its blessing. We don't want it to take a year. I don't even want it to take a week. I want to resolve this in the next couple hours, max. How do we speed up the
By the way,
process?
pause for 1 second. I just want to. What David said just a second ago was so brilliant. What the light force of the Creator really is asking us when you something touches that painful point within you. Do you want to be in pain for 2 hours? And imagine that the universe is asking you this. Or do you what I actually used to say to people, would you like a steak knife for 2 hours or a butter knife for the rest of your life? Right?
What is
Stabbing you.
I
Right?
see.
Like you could have a really sharp pain, right? Condense it, right? And that's the choice that the universe is giving us. If we have that attitude of embracing it, it may be very difficult for that moment that I'm wanting and I'm willing to embrace it. But the alternative is having a butter knife in my side for the next 20 years.
Yes.
Now, there may be people that say, I'll take the butter knife. But the blessing in taking the steak knife for whatever the 2 hours is that David's saying, I'd rather be in pain for 2 hours and get it over with, finish with it, move on to my next level, welcome that next series of blessings into my life. That's the attitude.
Here are the steps you can take to speed up your process. Number 1, we talked about it. Embracing that process and injecting joy and acceptance that I'm going through it.
Okay.
Not to say it's not fair, not to find a way to wiggle out of it.
Not to cringe, not to brace yourself, but to open your arms and let it in.
It's coming from the Creator, therefore it must be good. Number 2, sharing and caring about others during painful times speeds up the painful times. When we're in pain, we usually like to just focus on our painful situation and try to resolve it before we even talk to anybody else.
Resolve it, by the way, one form of resolving it is controlling it, right? Like to go into, well, this is why it's happening. I'm a Scorpio. I have control issues. I lost control. Leave the story for afterwards. Write your novel when it's over. Instead, be in that moment.
Nobody cares about the story. Don't tell the story.
Be in the moment. And as David said, if you are having if you're going through a painful period in your life, the universe is also going to send you angels, people
who ask for your help,
who will need your assistance. And in that moment, when you say, I can't, I have too, I'm going through something right now, by not going, by being there for those other people, you are diminishing your own painful process.
Happens to me a lot. I'm going through a challenge. I'm trying to deal with it. Somebody comes up to me and goes, "Oh, I need to ask you a question." And I'm like, "Well, the last thing I want to do is answer your question right now. I'm dealing with something much more serious than probably whatever your question can be."
Right.
But that person was sent by the Creator to give you a little bit of mercy. I remember one time I lost my wallet, and it was right before I was going on a flight, and I was looking everywhere. It was in New York. I was looking up and down the building. Where's my wallet? And then somebody came up to me and said, "Can you get me I don't know what it was, like a glass of water from the water station?" Like, this is what somebody asked me as I'm getting ready for my flight, looking for my wallet that has my ID. I look at it and I'm like, "Are you kidding me? I'm going to go get you a glass of water right now. I'm looking for my wallet." And then I paused, and it was such a ridiculous request that I said,
How could it not be
directly
God?
from the...
God literally took on human form,
right,
and came to you and asked for a cup of water.
So I said, "You know what? This is so ridiculous, and I'm going to be late for my flight, and I don't even have an ID." So I said, "All right." I went to get him a glass of water, and my wallet was right near the water station. So it's almost like
but that's. I mean, let's not promise that that's going to happen to every
person.
I'm not saying,
but it was
today.
nice.
That's awesome.
That was a nice kiss from the Creator, saying, "Look, sometimes you need the solution, but the solution will be wherever the person. Once you share, you'll be guided to the place of where the solution is." I mean, that was a very clear look at it, but that is one. So number 3, when you're going through a painful situation that's uncomfortable, it's a great practice to ask the Creator, or ask your soul, the Creator that's inside your soul, to reveal a spiritual lesson. Reveal this to me. I desire to know, because we've learned in spirituality, whenever you ask the Creator to reveal a message and a lesson, it can be revealed. The problem is we just don't ask. We don't ask. We don't want to know. We don't even think we should ask. Kabbalah is here telling us you need to ask. If you don't ask, you're not going to get. What's the lesson? I want to know. I'm curious. I want to overcome this.
And this, by the way, goes against, I think, how a lot of us operate in our daily lives. Like most of us think, okay, I have a job, I have a family, I have responsibilities, I got bills to pay, and I'm going to be spiritual. Kabbalah says the job, the bills to pay, the family are all part of this same system that's here to get you to unleash the light in your soul. So when we say that we're too busy to deal with something, right? Like that's the irony, the paradox of how our world is designed, is that it looks like the physical is more important than the spiritual.
Correct.
But the physical is there as a catalyst for the spiritual. So when you have the responsibilities and the obligation, the reason those responsibilities and obligations are in our lives as well is for a spiritual purpose. It's built into everything that we're talking about today.
And the last point I have, and there's probably many more, but the ones that I wrote down, to speed up your process when you're going through an uncomfortable situation, is to make the effort to have simple certainty that what you're going through will be good, is good, was good, is good, and will be good. And every time you inject that thought, even if you have to fake it, even if you can only hold that thought for 3 seconds and then that thought goes away and you have to bring it up again, every time you inject that thought, you diminish the power of the pain and you speed towards the resolution of it. Michael Berg once told me that the fastest way to get out of any chaotic situation is to have simple certainty beyond your logical mind that this situation will be good, and it will be good right away. And the longer you can hold that thought consciousness, the faster you're paying back your debt of this pain.
You know, I heard a beautiful metaphor that I really connected to, maybe as a person who likes to cook. But what is pain really? So there's in the deeper, again, going back to what David was saying about the Kabbalah 1 course, one of the fundamental concepts we teach in that course is the purpose of creation, the purpose of why we're here. Obviously, I think a lot of people are seeking the answer to that question: why am I here? What's my purpose? So part of the teaching is that we were once privy to all of the goodness of the light force of the Creator, but the thing we couldn't do is earn it. We couldn't be the cause. We couldn't be the reason that light was being revealed. And here we are in this physical reality. So if you can imagine, each one of us is a container, is a vessel for that light force of the Creator. And what ends up happening is that because we received so much without having made the effort, imagine that each one of us is like a casserole dish. This is the metaphor, okay? Shout out to all my friends who like to cook. Imagine that you have a casserole dish that has baked on old casserole in it, and you want to make a new casserole, okay? If you're going to try and put a new casserole in the casserole dish that has the caked on old last week's casserole in it, can you have as much casserole as the vessel is capable of containing?
Of course not.
Of course not. You have a quarter old casserole and 3/4 new casserole. Pain is the lifting up of the old casserole to make way for the new casserole. I'm a child of the 70s and 80s, right? So I remember those dishwashing detergent commercials where they show the food lifting off the dish. To me, that's when I heard that, and again, this is probably 25 years ago or so, the idea that pain is making room for me to be able to receive more light. I cannot receive more light until that old gunk is removed from my dish.
It's kind of like you don't just put on deodorant every day. You first take a shower and then put on deodorant. Can you imagine?
It's exactly like that,
Can you imagine
David?
if you never took a shower and you just put on deodorant over yesterday's deodorant? It wouldn't work. And so pain is the shower. Pain Everybody needs a little healthy dose of something uncomfortable, even if it's for 1 second, right? That shower can be 1 second or can be years. So I love that. That is powerful. So those are the 4 steps. Now I have, I hope you're still streaming with us, because now we have the 5 signs that you're about to go through pain. I mean, before I share that, please share this. Help us support us. Our audience is growing. I mean, we have more live viewers than we've ever had. Today is actually the record. I think it's a hot topic. But if you can share this broadcast, if you can comment and create engagement for us, our audience is growing every week, and it's because of you. And especially these 5 things. Who doesn't want to know what are the 5 signs that pain is coming? So let's start. Number 1. This is a sign that the universe wants you to go to your next level, and therefore pain is about to come, but you have a choice to push yourself first. You start to feel, someone's calling, what is it? Someone's actually calling me as
you're trying to read the
opponent.
list.
That was the opponent right there.
Well, by the way, one question that we're getting, and I want to say it out loud so that we can either go back to
people on the edge of their seat right now.
No, but it's true. We're not talking about pain for others. We're talking about personal pain in today's show.
Today's show is personal pain.
And we will probably in the next month and a half or so get the opportunity to talk about feeling other people's pain.
Yes.
That also can be paralyzing and suffocating. But today specifically, we're talking about personal pain.
That is
okay.
accurate.
So thank you for asking. And here we go.
Okay. So you start to feel something's not right. As soon as you start to feel, that's your soul, that's your intuition, it's a premonition that's coming that's saying something is not right. That there's some kind of judgment in the air. You know, when you feel judged or you feel like there's something going on, that there's a judgment brewing, like a storm is brewing, this usually means that I have a blind spot and I'm not looking at it, or I'm harboring negativity and I'm harboring it for too long. So there's a painful situation coming to push me out of that.
Right. And it might come, you might even sense like something needs to change, but you don't know what it is. And usually when you feel that way, you look externally. Correct. Right? I'm going to move my office to this corner.
Correct.
Or I'm
feng
going
shui.
to change.
Maybe the feng shui is wrong, right?
I'm going to change my ringtone.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to start to eat more greens, right? We tend to look at what we can do externally to alleviate that nagging feeling like something needs to change.
Yes. Very, very good point. When you feel that nagging feeling, I would take 30 minutes out of your day and just talk with your soul. Talk with the creator and say, all right, what's going on here? What's the premonition telling me? And whenever my teacher taught me, whenever I feel that there's judgment around me or in the upper worlds for my soul, I've been told to actually tone it down. Tone it down. Don't be so loud.
Low profile.
Low profile. That's correct. Low profile. So much so that one of my teachers once told me to clear my schedule for months of teaching, because there was so much judgment in the air, not just for me, but for many people. They said, don't teach for the next 3 months. I said, well, are you crazy? Well, it's not a form of giving, right? And he said, yes, it is a form of giving, but it's a form of high profile giving. You should focus on low profile giving for the next 3 months, which I found to be very interesting. All right. Number 2, many green lights simultaneously start to turn to red lights. Things stop going your way, and they all happen at the same time. So, kind of when it rains, it pours. All of a sudden, there's a lot of things that aren't going your way. This is a sign that there's something that you need to change, and you haven't been changing. So all these red lights are coming.
Right. So it's almost like the universe is saying to you, halt, look in your rearview mirror, check the side. Something is going on in the periphery. And again, that makes me think again about the physical versus not physical. Right? Remember that the physical is the vehicle for the spiritual.
Right.
So sometimes we lose perspective, and those red lights, like David said, simultaneously are there so that we can refocus.
Sometimes serious injury is such a message, right? The kind of injury that forces you to be in bed. The kind of injury that forces you to slow down. You don't only mean
injury. Sometimes you get the flu and you can't get it. Or somebody, I know someone who broke their foot and had to, couldn't walk around for about 6 weeks. That's a great example of check your mirrors.
Right.
Something.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean we've done something bad. It just means that we're not checking our mirrors. We're not auditing.
None of this is an indication that we've done something bad or wrong or negative.
You're not a bad person if you're going to pain.
The universe is rigged to help us get back on track. Mm-hmm. This is an example of the universe. When the red lights turn up, the universe is saying get back on track.
Right. The universe is a kind king. Okay. Number 3. People around you start sharing their disapproval of you or commenting on how you need to change. Usually when somebody tells me something I need to change, and once is enough. Once should be enough. But if I hear it twice in the same day, oh my gosh. I'm clearing the rest of my schedule. And I'm going to lock myself in a room and try to self-reflect and autocorrect that immediately. Because once you get two, if two people tell you the same thing, that's huge. You have to know that is, if you don't listen to that.
That's like God asking you for a cup of water so you'll find your wallet.
Exactly. If you don't listen to that, oh my gosh. I mean, it's the chaos will be coming. All right. Number 4. Things are too good and you feel invincible. When you start feeling invincible, like nothing's going to get in your way, this is not certainty. This is arrogance. And that feeling of being invincible, the problem with thinking I'm invincible is it actually diminishes my desire. It diminishes my desire for spiritual growth. It's when I start to feel better than others. Mm-hmm. It's when I start to feel separated and I feel like people need to listen to me. I know what's right. Think about a person who makes $1 billion in a year. All of a sudden he goes from nothing to $1 billion and he walks around thinking, you know what, I figured out the solution. I figured out the algorithm. I know the formula for success and nothing's going to stop me. I have the money now. This is very dangerous. It's very dangerous. So this usually happens to us after something very successful. And we need to appreciate the success. We can enjoy the success. We can connect to its energy, fine. But also simultaneously have a level of humility, self-reflection. I never want to get to that place where I feel invincible and that I don't need anything else. I got it all figured out. That's another sign. If that starts happening,
and if that's confusing, go back and listen to last week's show.
Right. Okay.
Last week's show was all about feeling invincible or not.
That's correct. Now,
okay.
Number 5, last one. Are you ready for this?
Drum roll, please.
How much more time do we have? This is the best
7, 9, 8 minutes or so.
This is my favorite.
And I have something else that we need to bring up about this week. So
okay. And are you getting questions about this?
Kind of.
Okay.
Kind of yes and kind of no.
All right. So number 5. This is my favorite one. You start to complain about everything. You find that you're complaining. You find that you're being sarcastic. You find that you're nitpicking. You find that you're seeing the bad and not seeing the good. When you start to see people as annoying and you start to see the bad in everyday common things, this is a sign. This is the precursor
the last resort.
The last chance you have before the camel's back breaks. That's what and that's so powerful. You know, when we catch ourselves getting upset with everybody, right? I'm not talking about the once in a while upset. I'm talking about just everybody annoys you. When everybody annoys you and you're judging everybody, and everybody's wrong, you're judging everybody, this is a sign that something must change and correct inside of you. Because it can't be that the whole world is wrong and you're right. It cannot be, right? Even statistically, it cannot be that everyone around you is making a mistake and you've got it all figured out. This is a sign that we're being blinded by our own negativity. And so we need to transform immediately.
Everything that David just listed, the 5 precursors to a painful situation on its way is perfect. It's a perfect setup for actually the thing I wanted to throw out before we finish the show. You know, at the end of this week, Saturday and Sunday is the new moon of Virgo.
Okay, yes.
And we're going to dedicate the 4 shows in the month of Virgo to assisting you with that, you know, the gift of that month. But remember that the I guess you could say it like this: the month of Virgo is a change workshop, a transformation workshop, 28 days of divine assistance in reflecting and perfecting yourself. So it makes
you said 21 days? 30
28.
Oh, 20 days, okay.
It may be 20. No, it's 28.
Yeah.
There is a perfect reason, perfect purpose in having this week as the setup for that, because the month of Virgo we really dedicate to proactive change, to taking inventory, doing that deeper audit, and then projecting, creating a game plan for the coming year.
Right.
So as you find yourself this week reflecting on things that are not what you want them to be, are the things that you are not happy with, the things that you would like to change if you could. I mean, remember that none of the bad that you see is for bad.
Correct.
It's all to get you to elevate, to transform. And the reason I even thought of it is because in looking, when everybody looks wrong and you're judging and you want to flip the table and leave the office and all that stuff, that's a very Virgo moment. Mm-hmm. So beware that as we get, one of the things that we always talk about when we have the new moon in a coming week is to really take that 24 or 48 hours to be the best you can be. Mm-hmm. The kindest, the most conscious, the most aware, the most generous, the most reflective, because it's in those 2 days that we create the mold for the following 4 weeks.
That's correct.
So knowing that we have the new moon Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be here on Monday to share with you,
some secrets of that month. That's correct.
The first leg, we're going to take you through 4 legs of the month of Virgo. The first leg begins on Monday, but what can we leave our listeners with for the next 7 days that will help them take advantage of the gifts that are going to be in this week and also prepare themselves for the month
You
of
just
Virgo?
reminded me that tomorrow night I will be giving a seminar. For most of you, it will be free if you're members, if you're on the membership program. If not, I think it's just $15. But I will be giving a 4-week seminar with my colleague, David Ghiyam, all about the month of Virgo and the 22 days afterwards of how to create a new destiny. What we need to do for pretty much the next 2 months to create a new destiny for the next 12 months. I don't know if somebody can post that link, but wherever you are around the world, you can come and connect to it. It's called the 22 Days of Transformation. And I'll be giving that live tomorrow night, Tuesday, 7 p.m.
Seminar?
It's a 4-week seminar. The first one will be tomorrow night, Tuesday at 7 p.m. at the Los Angeles Kabbalah Center. But we have hundreds of people already signed up. People will be streaming from all around the world.
So that's going to be streaming live from Los Angeles. If you can't watch it live, you can also sign up and get the recordings.
Yeah, so we'll be sharing deep level consciousness. And some of that I'll bring in the show also next week. But we'll go really deep and heavy into it tomorrow night.
Okay. So what do we say? What do we have to say as we wish our listeners off into the coming week?
The bottom line is, let's have a new relationship with pain. Let's not run away from it. Let's go into it. Let's talk to it. Let's embrace it. Let's learn. Let's talk to the Creator about the lessons that we need to learn. Let's have certainty beyond our logical mind when we're going to a challenging situation. And you have the power to overcome pain in minutes. It doesn't have to last years or days or months or weeks or whatever. You can change something in minutes. And I'm not just saying that you don't feel pain, but externally it's so chaotic. When you transform yourself, your destiny changes. The external changes immediately. So this is a very positive thing and a very powerful week to do that.
As always, we are here, of course, on Facebook. And if you're listening afterwards, after the live show, you can post your comments and questions. I know there's a lot of questions we didn't get to even during the show. We will go back and we'll answer them. If you are listening on one of our podcasts, which are on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Play, CastBox, and Stitcher, you can email us your questions at energyboost@kabbalah.com. And if you are listening to the podcasts, please review them. I'm noticing I'm starting to pay attention to the charts, and we are climbing, but we definitely can reach more people the more reviews we have on our podcast. So please share and review. Have a fabulous week. We will see you next Monday, 10 a.m. on the Weekly Energy Boost.